Yo, what is going on, guys? It's Turbohorn92 here. I'm here with who?
Mr. Duong, we're back at it again.
Yes, sir. Welcome.
This time we played Modern Yu-Gi-Oh, not Edison.
Yes, sir. Post ban list still currently post Duong or Duelist
Yes.
Nexus.
So post Duelist Nexus, we played a 3v3 at Card Addiction again. Luckily this time we didn't lose round one. Like that was the goal. So we went undefeated in Swiss. We lost the top cut though, which was kind of unfortunate in the grand scheme of things. But I think what we did for Swiss and moving forward, like through the format, as long as nothing really changes, I think is this deck is actually really good.
All right. And what deck were you playing? And what about the other two players on your team played?
So we believe the triangle in this format right now is Kashtira, Purely, and Manadome. Those are the three most unfair decks that, as is the format progresses, to be as good as they be, because they get to play the most non-engine to beat the triangle, but also they just do oppressive things against everything else in the format.
Okay, makes sense. All right, ready to check over the deck profile, man.
All right, so here we go. So I played Kashtira for this event just because it was what I had, but we just tested a bunch of non-engine, so it was just good. So we got 3 Fenrir, 2 Unicorn, 2 Rise Heart, and Scareclaw. I think this lineup has always been pretty much the standard for Kashtira. There probably is an argument to play 3, and sometimes when I did play the mirror, I did want 3, but honestly, this was fine. I didn't miss anything. The big thing about this engine is the non-engine that you get to play, because you used to play unfair things. So you get to play Shifter because Macrocosmos is really nice, but we also play Joel Lockford. I think this is kind of mandatory in the format if you're playing something like Between the Triangle and other things, just because all 6 of these is turn skips versus the Mana Dome deck, and we don't play a lot for that deck just because we're more this deck is more based on the mirror and Purely. So and just kind of supplement this is kind of a turn skip, kind of like how Despia just kind of loses to this card, is just Ash Blossom. This was a turn skip in the sense of if you hit a ball against the Dome deck, it's really really good. They just kind of just stop it, only have 1. They have to have 2 to start playing. So it's really crazy. But really, I just wanted another card that was good versus Labyrinth, so I don't get Eradicated at some point, or Despia if I don't get if I didn't open for Brand Fusion. But it was all just good, and it's also just good for against our non-engine for defense, which is really important when your wrestler get outed. So I think this was all good for this. For spells, 4 fields, 3 Theosis, 3 Birth, Big Bang. Again, I don't think we need to explain all of this because it's just been Cashier for the past 6 months. This is fine. And then I guess Prosperity as well is an engine slot, but this is kind of also a not engine slotable side because it gets you to a lot of our outs. So another thing is that I didn't play Desires because I really like that card, especially since I play Featherduster too. But the issue right now, I think, is kind of you have to play so much non-engine on the standby phase to out Purely and Kashtira that you can't even afford to play Desires in your deck at that point. So I guess this was fine, but I didn't get to resolve this too much. So
yeah, makes sense. And plus, you gotta look at this instead of draw 2 random cards. I would look at the top 6 cards just in case see your side deck too.
Yeah, it was just way more impactful. But I wanted to play both because this deck has a problem with consistency issues. But luckily, I didn't really brick during Swiss. I only bricked in top cut, so I think it's fine. And now this is where the premise of the format comes in. In order to beat Purely, I think you need books.
Dang.
I think everyone has to do this in this tournament. Even so our consensus in our team is that we all played Droll and 6 books game 1. That was the plan because against Dome, you just can't let them combo. But against Purely and Cash, you can let them combo. But you have one of these versus that deck, you're free. You get to play. And another thing about this run is that Ash Blossom is so crazy versus this because that meant that your right side sticks is nuts. And then but these ones in particular are good. This one's crazy because like against like Sleepy Memory, in the purely deck, as long as you do this on draw phase, they don't get to draw. And like even if they chain the trap, it still books Noir.
Oh, dang! I didn't know about that ruling.
So like it's especially if they don't have 4 materials. So like this just is like really crazy if you really think about it.
Mm-hmm.
But like you just want all these to chain when they have a trap, like it, and to kind of just the thing is that 6 is not enough. So I always go by the rule of 9 to beat like a combo, and the next card does the same thing as this, but it's a little more versatile. Lance. So apparently there's an interaction right now that's going around that if you lance the guy when they chain target with the trap, it doesn't happen. They don't get the link, rank up. So that's like really crazy. It also stops the books. So like if you're going second and you get booked, this is your answer.
Oh,
But
yeah.
also, but when you go first, a lot of people are still playing imperm for whatever reason. This stops it. So
Dang, okay.
so and then these are all your outs to skill drain versus the labyrinth deck. So like when you activate Fenrir, so like I think this is like really good.
Dang, okay, yeah, I can actually see why all the 6 book it covered the mirror match and Pearly, because Pearly is
We just kind of just like if you don't draw or shifter versus the dome deck, you kind of just like scoop it up and like just don't reveal what you're playing. I think that's like the move. But like for the most part, like you kind of just like get to play like every game. Another thing about this deck was I drew shifter a lot game 1.
holy,
So
crazy.
I was player A, so like my job was to shift like the shifter on all the meta decks. So I'm like, alright, if I get to draw that card, I usually probably win.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was like cool. Although in testing, I didn't like shifter versus purely because all the better players, they'll just like be able to attach their thing off their exceed. So like it just doesn't matter anymore. So
Yeah,
but it makes it so that they can't use per lily, which is I think a little bit that they have to work way harder to like combo. Which I think the trade off's fine at that point.
yeah. A couple of questions before going to the side deck and the extra deck. Will you is that 40 cards, by the way?
It is exactly 40 cards. That was the other thing I wanted to mention too. I can't. This deck has a really hard like consistency issue that like it's kind of like Zoo, but it's like way worse. So you have to draw like a way to Unicorn or Fenrir, and then like another piece to combo, and then like 2 to 3 cards for non-engine. And if you just draw engine, that's just not good. If you just draw non-engine, then you just don't get to start, which is like really bad. So like you kind of have to keep a balance between everything. Like I play 22 engine cards and 18 non-engine cards. So like I can think you can do the math on that. Like I'm seeing like what can happen.
Okay. Yeah, you just want like the probability high so you can try to draw at least 1 of or 2 of at least.
You need to draw both sides of the deck. Like that's how this deck is gonna work.
Yeah, it makes sense. And then second question, will you change anything about your deck list, or you think it was like perfect?
I tested like with my boy Isaac, who was my Pearly player. We just tested a good amount just for this tournament. So I think for this event, I think it was fine. But I don't know what we're doing moving forward if the format changes. But like if the format doesn't change, I think this is really good. Like this is really solid.
Yeah, like super simple cookie cutter, and then and what made you decide to play this deck? Since I know you own.
I hate this deck. I'd rather play Labyrinth or Despia just because I'm a better trap player. But traps weren't really good for this event. Just because the mana dome deck just puts up a counter trap. Like what do you do? Like when they just try to if they play perfect. Like you can't always like make them like fall into it. And then like I get that this has your Labyrinth matchup is free when you play Kashtira. And then what is it? Against Pearly, it's like 50-50 who wins the role. But for the most part, like it was better to play this because like there's answers like a lot of non-engine going second is better at the moment. If you're considering that triangle and no trappers are in the equation.
Yeah, no, that does make sense. And Cashier is still the best deck by far. I don't care what people think, but still good representative at the moment.
I think it's like for sure within top 3, but I don't know if it's for me personally. It's like the best deck. I think Purely is like really good if the pilot's good. But like if you just want something like a little bit more brain guide and like consistent. Or in terms of like having your outs and playing enough non-engine, I think this is the way to go.
Very nice.
Because Cashier is also just better going second.
All right, makes sense. You can show your extra deck and then.
All right, I'll do my extra. Rise Heart, 3 Shang. I never did the third. I barely just made one, but like just because the games don't last that long. Because like I also never got nibbed. That was really important this event. I think nib sucks this turn around this time in the format just because if everyone's just playing like purely, then they just end on 4 summons. This deck can just end on 4 summons if you want to play around nib, which I never did, but because I just made the full board because I disrespected it, and then Duong just kind of just puts up Baron and a 4th or 5th summon, so it's like nib sucks.
We have a dead nib.
Yeah, nib sucks.
Yeah.
To Zeus, I luckily played the mirror. They didn't snipe this. Because they couldn't activate Unicorn. But, like, I was glad I played 2.
Water be safe and sorry.
This was really cool in the mirror.
That was crazy.
Yeah, I wish I played 2 in hindsight, but, like, I never needed it. So, like, thank God. Never made this, but probably just, it's mainly for skill drain. Never made that. This was cool. In testing, it was fine, but, like, I just found out this only hits monsters and not spells and traps, so I'm like, this card's okay. I just make trickles like half the time then.
Was there a second time you need a second big guy, or one is fine?
I prosperity away every game. Like, this is one of those things. Like, I feel like when you're playing this deck in the mirror, you're just trying to Zeus them. Like, you just don't, big guy doesn't ever come up.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then, this is for Runic, but like, I played one Runic, but like, that didn't happen. He just like, his hand was terrible. My removal targets. I thought I was gonna play more Despia, so I really wanted this card for like bouncing Mirror Jades and stuff. And this also just bounces Zeus, or like this also hits Zeus if they're gonna end the mirror. But that never really happened either, so I don't know. That was cool, but never attached it. I attached this once, and it put me back like a Fenrir in my graveyard. So I guess that was cool.
God.
So like I guess, but like you also just really need this because like your Erasure gets outed a lot. So like if you have a chance to attach this, they just never outed it. So like it just didn't matter. As long as they didn't kill you, you're just winning.
Makes sense. And was there a time you missed Baron at all?
No, I never made it, but like there would have been a time to make it, but like in like one of my rounds top cut, but I was just too far behind at that point. There's no point.
Okay, understandable.
For my side deck, so I was really scared of Labyrinth because like actually just like that deck is terrifying because you just don't get eradicated, right? Like we saw that like at Euros and Nats. So I'm like, we were playing 6 cards to make sure we don't really get eradicated.
Yep.
If they're playing like furniture, then like if you get to like when they coup clock, you just know where Eradicator is, so like you get to snipe it immediately, and they're usually just playing 1. So like as long as you don't get Eradicator the rest of the game, you're good. This also just makes sure that like they don't have their big welcomes are dead. So that's cool. Yeah, and then 3 Herald the Abyss, the cat deck again. Like
that card is cool.
I'm already playing 9 outs on my standby phase. But what happens when you don't draw these? You just lose, right?
Yup.
So with Prosperity, it gives you 3 more copies of this card. So you technically have 15 outs post side for purely. So I guess you can, and you only need 1. So do the math on that.
Okay, that makes sense.
But this is also really good in the against like a Rise Heart because this outs it immediately. It's also just a little bit better than like Exquisite Encore because it hits all the other towers like Marine Cess and like Attic Mystery if you run into those. So, it's good. Dark Ruler. Funny enough, I had this in the mirror, and he made me go first.
Oh.
So what happened was, okay, he made me go first, I comboed him, right? He books my whole board, Zeus's me, right? And he puts up a full board, like, I Dark Ruler him back and Zeus him back.
Holy, you're crazy.
Nice. I'm sick. But this is also just, like, this is one of the only cards that hit the Mana Dome deck too, because like this forces the counter trap immediately. And then as long as you have another one, you're good. So you can probably beat it in the gate somehow, but like but I wanted this for like Sprite and Dragon Link because those decks were popular. Still, so like this is good for that. The Runic decks, like or any deck that just puts up like random like Floodgate monsters that you don't have imprint for, or like you don't have the books for, you just have this. So it does the same thing. And then 3 barrier. I just want to get like what is it?
SBM.
Mind Fusion or like Sword Sword or like Sprite monsters, whatever. There was one deck I needed this for because I found out in testing that deck is really scary. I played them during Swiss was Chimera. Because like this makes sure that you just don't die versus that deck. Like they just can't play. And it just sucks that like Chimera Fusion's a quick play, so like they can always play around it.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, super standards.
Yeah.
And one. Oh yeah. What's your thoughts about XYZ Anchor over the this current?
Oh, like I did say that just now, right? So like, XYZ Encore is only really good versus like two decks, right? Which is like maybe Kashtira and Pearly, but it doesn't hit all the other Towers decks.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
You know what I mean? So like, you just need this to like just add it. But this is also just really good against other Floodgate monsters or like whatever they're playing because like it's the player. It's like evenly matched or like the Runic Cannon where like it's the player that's like removing the card, not the card effect.
Okay.
So like against a Sky Striker, you just hit their link and they don't get Ray, or like it just random stuff like that. Like I think this card's like infinitely better. Yeah, like 1500 life is like kind of hefty, but like I think like if you're just killing them, then it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, no, I like the deck airing. It's like super simple cookie cutter. Would you change anything to the siding, or you think it was perfect?
For this event, I don't think I would, just because like all of this was like fine. It's just that like we have to see how the format is moving forward because the format's still too early.
Yeah, makes sense.
Like as long as more people are like finding out what the format's entitled of, like it could be subject to change. But like I really don't think like this this probably is gonna be solid for the next like 2 or 3 months if you're gonna play Kashtira. I dislike this deck, so like I just don't want to play it anymore. But like
yeah, no, I feel you.
It's just good enough, I think.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Before ending this video, you want to give any shout outs or anything to say?
Shout out to my team. We were called E-Girls Are Ruining My Life. Our friend V just decided to name it. Unfortunately, that name is retired. Specifically my teammate Isaac and V. Isaac then put in a lot of work for the because he's been playing the most, but like, yeah, like we made sure that like we all played 6 books and Droll in our deck, and that kind of paid off for all of us. And then or 69 a sense of my group chat, like everyone's really like supportive in that. Hope everyone tries to do well in that down the line. Shout out to Contradiction, and Anthony is our TO. Like I swear, like Anthony is probably one of the best TOs in Southern California right now. Looking into hosting events like 3v3s or like case tournaments right now, just because he wants us out. Like like rounds immediately just keep going, and it's like you're out by like 3 or 4 hours. Like that's just so, and then it just provides really good practice for like events in general. So I think that helps a lot. Yeah, shout out Card Addiction, like in Orange County, like that looks pretty cool. Honey buns for $1. That is the goo. That is the goo. And other than that, yeah, dude, like this format's like really combo heavy. But if you want Labyrinth, that's coming soon.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
That's coming soon.
And let's just say congrats on you guys getting top 4. Is that correct?
Yeah. So specifically first in Swiss. That's just actually what mattered because we made sure to not to lose round 1. Like that was like that last time, and we made X1, but like no, go undefeated, bro.
Yep. Oh man, that's amazing. And also, this is just the beginning, so this must be a sign that next event you guys will be top of YCS and regionals. And
that is the goal. That is the goal, baby.
Yep. And
thank you.
For your time for being on the channel, and your boy Cyber192 and Daniel. We are signing out. Peace. All right.
Thank you, Rob.